Hello, this is Dr. Benjamin Smith, lecturer in philosophy with Catholic Studies Academy. In this series of videos, I just want to briefly share some of the main ideas and resources and texts that have inspired my own study of philosophy and theology over the years. I hope you'll find these ideas useful and helpful in your own study. One of the most important ideas has been, for me, the common good, as articulated by St. Thomas Aquinas. One of my primary interests in philosophy has always been political philosophy, and I found the common good to be a very useful concept in this area. One of the best ways to think about the common good is just to distinguish it from the individual good. The common good is a good one in number shared by many, whereas the individual good is a good one in number but only belonging to one. So, for example, the health of my body is an individual good. It's a good enjoyed by myself alone. Whereas, say, the common good of education is the common good that unites all the members of the Catholic Studies Academy in our joint effort to learn more about our faith. Similarly, we could talk, another example of the common good would be the common good of a sports team. It's still the good of each member of that team, but it's the good that they pursue and achieve together. It's their common good rather than their merely individual good. One last example might be, say, in a symphony or an orchestra. Symphonic excellence, right? A beautiful symphony performed by all the members of the orchestra. That is the common good of the orchestra. The individual honors or pay that each member receives would be their individual good. So we can see in almost any endeavor, we can find the common good involved in that endeavor as well as the individual good. Maybe not in every endeavor, but most. And one of the things that's important here then is to recognize that the common good is a greater good. That is what has historically and classically been called the primacy of the common good. I think this is one of the most important premises and theses of social and political philosophy. There's a lot to be said here. There's a lot of detailed argument I'm not going to go into, but I just want to offer you two ideas or two of the arguments that are brought forward here. One is that the common good is to be preferred and pursued to the individual good because the common good is a greater good. It's a higher good. It benefits, actualizes, organizes, and motivates the many rather than just the individual. So in that sense, because it actualizes the many, because it moves the many, it's in fact a higher level good than the individual good. So in that sense, we should pursue it more than the individual good, not to the exclusion of the individual good, but more than the individual good because it is a higher good, and we should love that which is higher more than that which is lower. A second type of argument has to do with the fact that we should pursue the common good of the whole rather than the individual good of the part, because the part is compared to the whole as an imperfect part to a perfect or complete whole. Now, the idea here isn't to think that the political community or any community for that matter is pristine, but the idea is that it is complete in relationship to the individual. Each individual, for the most part, through most of human history, there's some rare exceptions, enters into community and is actualized by and benefited from that community. You just think about your own life. You have been a member of a family, you've been a member of local communities, churches, businesses, local state governments, as well as sort of the federal union probably of the United States of America, or maybe some other country. But the point being is that you have learned from, been protected by, and given opportunities by the community of which you're a part. So in that sense, the community has a certain grandeur to it, a certain superiority to the individual. And we should pursue it as the higher sort of subject of goodness rather than just the individual. Now again, that's not to the neglect of the individual. We can still pursue individual goods, but the common good is a greater good and one to be preferred. And very importantly, the common good is not an alien good. It's still the good of the person. It's just not his individual good. There's probably a lot to chew on there. I hope you found this idea helpful or at least stimulating to think about. Until next time, God bless.